A bottle of wine on a shelf has two numbers, $45 in bold, 90 crossed out above it. You almost reach for it. A bargain, half off. What you don't know, the bottle was never sold at 90. That number isn't a price, it's a setup. It exists for one reason, to make 45 feel reasonable before you have time to decide. And the worst part, you already know this trick. You've always known it, and you still almost bought the wine. The effect was named in 1974 by two psychologists, Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, in a paper in the journal Science that would eventually rewrite behavioral economics. They did something simple. They spun a wheel of fortune in front of people. The wheel was rigged to stop on either 10 or 65. Then they asked the group a question with nothing to do with the wheel. What percentage of countries in the United Nations are African? 3 rules here, none of them strange. 1. The wheel number is obviously random. Everyone watches it spin. 2. The question has nothing to do with the wheel. 3. Every participant is told this explicitly. And yet, the group that saw the number 10 guessed, on average, 25%. The group that saw 65 guessed 45. Same question, same people. A 20-point difference from a number that wasn't supposed to matter. Here is what your brain does. Step 1. You are asked to estimate a number you don't know, a price, a percentage, a length. Step 2. Your brain looks for a starting point. It reaches for whatever numerical object is nearby, the anchor. Step 3. It adjusts away from the anchor toward what feels right. Step 4. Adjustment stops too early. Always too early. The anchor doesn't just influence your guess. The anchor defines the range of answers that even seem plausible to you. By the time you're weighing options, your brain has already decided which options count as reasonable, and it used the anchor to decide. The shortcut misfires. Not because your brain is broken, because your brain was built to estimate the unknown by starting from the nearest known thing. In a world full of arbitrary prices, that nearest known thing is whatever the store decided to print on the tag. You assumed your brain weighs the anchor against evidence and decides how much weight to give it. It doesn't work that way. The anchor shapes which evidence your brain retrieves before you've started deciding. The ruler you're using to measure, its 0-point moves. You can't catch this happening because the movement is the measurement. For most of human history, the nearest available number was a valid reference. Your neighbor's catch, last season's harvest, the distance to the water. Starting from the nearest known thing was cheap and usually close to right, but arbitrary numbers in a modern economy were never in the training data. Experienced real estate agents were shown the same house with different listed prices. Their appraisals moved with the listing. When asked afterward what influenced them, they listed square footage, neighborhood, condition. Almost none mentioned the listing price. It still shifted their estimates by thousands of dollars. German judges read identical case files, then read a prosecutor's sentence demand determined by rolling dice in front of them. The judges who saw a demand of 34 months handed down sentences about 8 months longer than judges who saw 12. Same crime, same file, random number. Expertise did not help. So, what can you do about it? The first answer is uncomfortable. Being told about the anchor doesn't help. Timothy Wilson and colleagues in 1996 warned participants in advance and offered incentives for accuracy. The effect held. Awareness by itself does essentially nothing. The second answer is slightly better. One technique, consider the opposite, reduces the effect by roughly 20 to 30%. Before estimating, you deliberately generate reasons the anchor might be too high and reasons it might be too low. It's tiring. Most people won't do it, and the anchor still wins most of the time. The third answer is structural, not cognitive. Write your number first. Before you see the listing price, before the seller names a figure, before you read the menu, commit to an estimate from facts you already know. Now, the anchor has something to fight against, instead of a blank slate. This is not a mindset, it is a procedure. Change the order of operations, not your willpower. Your preferences are not stored somewhere waiting to be consulted. Your preferences are constructed every time from whatever numerical information was most recently active in your head. Dan Ariely, George Lowenstein, and Drazen Prelets showed this in 2003. MIT students wrote down the last 2 digits of their social security number, then bid on wine and chocolate. Students with high digits bid up to 3 times more than students with low digits for the same products. Their preferences didn't exist before the question. They assembled themselves around the first number available. This isn't a flaw in 1 or 2 experiments. This is how numerical judgment works. There is no baseline U. There is only the U shaped by the last anchor. Every price you will see today already did its work. The menu, the listing, the crossed-out original price, the salary figure in the job post, the first offer in the negotiation, the opening number in the news headline. None of these arrived neutrally. Each one preloaded a range your brain now treats as reasonable. The standard advice, stay rational, asks you to recalibrate a ruler using itself. That isn't how rulers work. That isn't how brains work. So the question is not whether you are being anchored right now. You are. The question is which anchor is running in your head at this moment, and who put it there. The bottle of wine on the shelf, $45 in bold, 90 crossed out above it. The number was never a price. It was a ruler, handed to you by someone else, while you thought you were the one measuring. Every week, another misfire, another number your brain trusted without asking why. Subscribe. The next one might already be running.